Shalom. Like give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, pushing his word out in truth and sincerity all across the four corners of the earth. And this is an article from nationalnews.com, and the title says, Army preps for civil unrest in America's largest cities as risk of civil war looms. It says, imagine, if you will, America's cities being turned into battlefields. The sidewalks where average civilians once walked will be turned into paths for U.S. soldiers armed with weapons and bulletproof armor. The cars that once filled the streets will be replaced with military vehicles and tanks. Scattered fires and broken windows will be something you will see on every other block. Sounds dark, doesn't it? Truth be told, it may one day become a reality. And it is going to become a reality because this was all prophesied in the scriptures thousands of years ago. So we know that we are in the times of Jacob's trouble. You know, it's going to be all hell in America very soon. And this is Second Ezra 15. I'm start at 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Ultimately, that's talking about it's going to be World War III. You're going to have these different nations fighting each other, mainly America, fighting all these other countries and things of that such. And America's allies going to turn on them, but trickling on down, it's also going to these race riots. It's going to be total anarchy in these streets. Verse 16, but there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions to stand in their power. So all these people that's in these courthouses, these different mayors, governors, different politicians, you're gonna have these coming civilians. They're gonna come and kill these men of high power, high stature, because it was already prophesied. Verse 17, here's the point. A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. Let's go into those checkpoints, martial law. Basically, it's going to be the military taking over, and they're going to be policing the streets. Let's get back to the article. And it says, given the amount of political protests that occur today, many of which turn violent and downright destructive. Why are these political protests happening now? Because the children of Israel, they are not in a power seat. And that links up with Proverbs, the 29th chapter, and the second verse. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And the wicked bear rule, that's the Edomites, the so-called white people today. That's why all these different nations are in a state of mourning, because it is no righteousness in this whole earth. But that's all going to be restored very soon when Yahweh Shai come back with his host of angels, and they're going to tear up this place, America, and they're going to redeem the elect out of the nation of Israel. And the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, they're going to restore righteousness back on earth again. Start with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And it says, should one of America's major cities fall apart at the hands of a massive, out of control riot, the United States military will need to go in and restore order. We jump down, and it says, Major John Spicer is a former Ranger instructor and scholar at West Point's Modern War Institute. In an op-ed piece published just days ago, Spicer reminded readers that up until recently, armies have fought for cities rather than inside of cities. Today, however, many armies have accepted that global population growth and urbanization trends will increasingly force military operations into crowded cities, and military forces must therefore be capable of conducting a full range of operations in large, dense urban areas. Those urban areas are mainly where you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans dwell it. See, one thing about it, these Edomites, they know exactly who you are, starting with the elite of the Edomites, not these pretty much common everyday Edomites you see on the streets. But these Edomites that's in high power, they know who you are. They know about who the true people of Yahweh Shem Shai is, and that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So this is all planned and set up. And it says, and military forces must therefore be capable of conducting a full range of operations in large, dense urban areas. And that links up with Jeremiah 30 chapter in the 7th verse. How it says, at last for that day is great. So none is like it. Is even the time Jacob's trouble. So Jacob's trouble, that's going to start very soon. And hopefully we looking forward to it start this year. Because the sooner all this stuff start happening, the sooner Yahweh Shai will come and redeem us, Lord willing. And it says, of course, there is both an upside and a downside to a military that's prepping for urban warfare. So all these different type of calamities of America is going to happen, starting with the race riots. You're going to have the looting. You're going to even have women, children getting killed, women getting raped. It's going to be total chaos in the streets of America. And that leads to with Isaiah, the 24th chapter and the 10th verse. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. The city of confusion is America. America, Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word Babal, and it means confusion. So the city of confusion is broken down. Mainly on the right hand side is being broken down, starting with the apostles and the elders and the sincere brothers on down. They're going out on the highways and the byways, pushing this word out, and they, pushing videos out all across the, reaching all across the four corners of the earth. And we're breaking that city down. We telling the people that's in America and even all around other countries what's going to happen to America. It's going to be a great nuclear destruction of America. And only the elect and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel are going to be redeemed out of America. We telling about these Edomites, you so-called Caucasians, how you going into slavery, along with the other nations that's not Israelites. So we're breaking that city of confusion down spiritually. And it's also going to be broken down, mentioning this article right here about America preps for civil unrest. Well, all these different type of calamities going to happen to America. You're going to have all type of diseases, pestilence, which is also in the scriptures, is prophesied. There's going to be all type of hell and chaos, mayhem in America. So this is how that city of confusion getting broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. That goes right back to the second Ezra 15th chapter, which it says, a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. Those are military checkpoints. All right, verse 11. There's a crying for wine in the streets. And they're going to be crying for the truth. They're going to want to know what's going on. Why is this happening to us? We thought America was going to be great again. No, but if you just listen to those men who was out there on the highways and the byways, instead of you walking by, fanning your hand at them, you will know what would happen, what was going to happen. So there's going to be a lot of our people in that mind state. There's a crying for wine in the streets. They're going to want to know what the hell is going on. All joy is darkened. And all you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans always in that party mode. Always talk about turn up and everything. Right here it says all joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So you're going to be in a very great state of mourning very soon. Verse 12, and the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. That's the point right there. I'm going to finish this article. It says, of course, there is both an upside and a downside to a military that is prepping for urban warfare. The obvious advantage is that in the event of a massive riot with one of America's major cities teetering on the brink of collapse, the military will be able to restore order in relatively short amount of time. This could save hundreds or even thousands of lives and help prevent physical damage to personal property. And it says, and jump down, there are many people in this country who are very fearful of the idea of a military takeover in America. There have been television shows created about it, and thousands of personal stories can be found online of people who are taking every precaution, often referred to as preppers. These people spend thousands of dollars building underground bunkers, escape vehicles, and makeshift weapons to use should society one day collapse. Most preppers have very elaborate escape routes as well, leading them to safe, often remote locations away from civilization. And that's the mind frame of you so-called white people. You're a tangible people. You know, you believe what's there is something you can see. Well, the elect in the nation of Israel, hey, I spiritual preppers, just count on Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, he gonna lead our way into this spiritual journey we about to get ready to face in Jacob's trouble. So that's what we count on to help lead us in the right path. He's gonna direct our steps. You know, and that links up with Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. And that's what the hopeful elect are doing right now. And hopefully we are part of that. That's what we're doing. We're occupying prophecy. Articles like this I'm reading about army preps for civil unrest in America, that is prophecy. We are saying this before it happens. Verse 2, he would keep the sayings of renowned men. Who are the renowned men? Those are the elect. Another word for renowned is distinguished, prominent, great men. Those great men that stood stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Those are the renowned men. And very soon, the whole world are going to know who are those chosen men are. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men where subtle parables are, he will be there also. So our spiritual refuge, our spiritual, the ones who we spiritually banking on is Yahweh Shem Shai. That's who's gonna be able to help us through these hard times and Jacob's trouble, you know. And that's pretty much the point of that. I'm gonna leave this article in the description box, and that's the time we head into, man, the brink of America's collapse. And this is very soon is gonna happen. Just stay spiritually geared in this word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Just keep pushing, stay strong. We almost out of here, man. We really are. And I hope you all were edified. Stay strong. I like to say shalom.